Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is May 26th, and right now I am in New Mexico here, and we're going to be chasing some severe storms down here. Right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery, and you can see we've got a pretty nice day across a lot of Pacific Northwest. You're going to see the spin in the atmosphere, mainly across eastern Washington. Going to introduce some thunderstorm threat again today, mainly across the Cascades. Can't rule out a lightning strike or two even west of the Cascades here. Then we're in for a bit of a cool down as we go through the weekend. We'll take a look at those details here in a moment. This is looking at SeaTac yesterday. Look at that high temperature yesterday is 77, 9 degrees above average. You can see that warm up continuing, probably into the low 80s for some areas of the Puget Sound today. And it's been a while since we've had some measurable rain here. We had 100th of an inch on the 22nd, 100th of an inch on the 20th here. So been turning pretty dry. It's about that time of year where we start really drying out here across the Pacific Northwest. This is looking at a wider view of things here. You can see the state of Alaska. There's BC, Washington, Oregon. You can see the ridge bringing the warm temperatures today and kind of the troughing over the west here. And this, in turn, is actually what I'm chasing out here across New Mexico and portions of Texas and Colorado, as this trough brings some enhanced flow across the region here into some deeper Cape. But here across Pacific Northwest, we've got this ridging here, and we've got this trough, and I'll put this into motion. And you can see we get a bit of a cool down there. Another ridge tries to build in, but this trough is not far off here across the Gulf of Alaska. And you can see it starting to make its way down to the Pacific Northwest here. So that's what we're going to be watching here for the next few days. This is looking at the GFS. This is last night's run. Let me adjust my screen here so you guys can see me a little better. You can see the ridge. A little bit of a cool down there. Then another ridge tries to build in, but like I said, that trough is not going to be far off across the Gulf of Alaska. It's going to try to swing down through BC and a lot of the Pacific Northwest here. And then it tries to retrograde. So how fast will it retrograde? How strong will that ridge be over Canada? All good questions and things we need to answer here for the upcoming week or so to see if we're going to warm back up or cool back down. But you can kind of see the battle between that huge ridge over Canada and the troughing out over the Gulf of Alaska and on the west coast just off the Pacific Northwest shown there. Here we go with lightning flash density potential, the European. As we go through the day today, you'll see some of that activity start to build up over the region across the Cascades there. Tries to get a little bit further west. Doesn't make too much headway, but the SPC does have some of Western Washington and Oregon in that thunderstorm threat. Here we go through tomorrow, Saturday. Again, mainly Cascades east. Can't rule out some thunderstorms for southern Oregon, northern California as well. Check out that lightning activity up into BC. Now here we go on in through Sunday. And again with some thunderstorm activity, but mainly off to the east, including some places of southern Oregon, off through eastern Oregon, Idaho, and Montana. This is looking at the NAM3KM. This is the 06Z run. Put it in motion, you can kind of see the spin of the atmosphere across eastern Washington, see those thunderstorms build across the Cascades. You can see it try to drift off towards Portland from the east there a bit as we go through the evening tonight. And again, can't rule out a lightning strike or two, especially across some of the foothills there, western Washington, western Oregon. Then we'll speed ahead here and we'll go on into Saturday. You can see that repeat of some pop-up thunderstorms here coming across Spokane, down through Oregon as we go through the afternoon Saturday. Now this is looking at Seattle National Weather Service. You can see the 80-degree highs today, and then we start to cool down a bit as we get to tomorrow and on in through Sunday, back down towards seasonable temperatures, still a little bit above average though. This is the thunderstorms over the Cascades Friday. This is National Weather Service Portland, and you can see that does just clip the Portland, Vancouver area there and a lot of the Cascades there for some lightning, small accumulating hail, gusty winds, and brief heavy rain. You can see the timing of that 2 to 8 p.m. as well. This is the National Weather Service Spokane out here, and you can see it includes much of the area out there, and you can see the timing 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. This is daily max 2-meter temperature here, and you can see the highs forecast today. Look at Portland, probably getting up towards the mid-80s here. Seattle, again, probably low 80s for some areas here. And as we scroll ahead day by day, you can see the cool down Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then a little bit of a bounce back showing up here in the National Blend of Models as we go towards the following weekend here. 73, 76 for Seattle. Look at eastern Washington warming up, some of the valleys up into BC. By the time we get in towards early June, some above average temperatures might start coming around here depending on the strength of that ridge and its extent off to the west. This is looking at day one categorical outlook, and you can see where I'm chasing down here across New Mexico, some of Texas down here as well. as there is a 5% chance for tornadoes down here with any 25 miles of any given point. I'm up here in Tucumcari right now. It will be traveling south towards Roswell, probably maybe even a little bit further west. This is for tomorrow. You'll see I'll be chasing this probably again across some of the high plains again, this marginal risk. And you can see this thunderstorm risk again cascades east across the Pacific Northwest. Same thing again, mainly for Sunday. And this is what I'll be chasing out here for at least one more day there. This is 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. And this is kind of highlighting the potential for that ridge to include the Pacific Northwest and some of this warming temperatures. And this is looking at the 6 to 10 day precipitation probability. You can kind of see that little below average signal there across some of western Washington showing up, and the above average signal across California into Nevada, including places of Oregon, Idaho, and Montana, even eastern Washington under that. This is looking at the surface-based Cape today, and you can kind of see the marginal instability across some of Washington, Oregon, as you go through the day today. Nothing too crazy. But now as we go through a bit later, you see some of that instability across Washington, Oregon, Idaho increase. And you'll see what I'm chasing down here. This Cape bounces back here and pushes all the way up towards the Rocky Mountains there in New Mexico. And you can kind of see the ebb and flow of this Cape, this instability as we go through. This will be Saturday afternoon, something similar across the high plains. And again, most of that instability staying cascades east. Now, this is looking at what's going on with what I'm chasing out here across New Mexico. So this is a run a few days ago. This is actually yesterday morning's run. And you can see kind of the trough over the west here. And the flow coming off was not too impressive the past few days. But as we go on in through today, you'll see some of these 500 millibar, 18,000 foot winds, mid-level flow starts to emerge over the plains there. So it's going to give an enhanced threat today. And it's probably going to be a little bit better action today versus the previous days across the areas. You can kind of see this trough carved out over the west. As you go through Saturday, you're going to get some decent flow out over New Mexico and even some southern Colorado here, maybe out through Texas a bit here. But then you'll notice that trough starts to die back here a bit. So Sunday's flow is probably not going to be as good here. That may be the last day we chase out here this storm chasing trip. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys get out to enjoy those nice warm temperatures out there and some of the thunderstorm activity. Watch out when thunder roars, head indoors. Watch out for that dangerous lightning out there. I'll try to do another briefing tomorrow morning as well. So I hope you guys are enjoying these videos on the road. If you notice, I got this mouse working here on my Samsung laptop, and hopefully it's showing up well for you there. But anyway, we'll do this again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.